This pandemic has been very difficult for people, for businesses, and communities. Vaccines are coming, but we know that a healthy BC and a healthy economy go hand in hand. Cases are currently high, but we will get through this. We all need to do what we can to bend the curve. One demographic that has been particularly hit hard and challenged is our youth and our young adults. At the height of the pandemic, we saw unemployment rates at around 29%. Now, we're fortunate in March, we were able to see those numbers go significantly down to 12.1% unemployment, but that's still significantly higher than the average population, which is 6.9%. Youth were disproportionately impacted, and Premier John Horgan asked me to work with my colleagues to help address this important challenge. So now I'd like to invite Premier John Horgan.
Thank you, Ravi, and it's good to be here today on the traditional territory of the Lekwungen-speaking people. I want to thank MLA Brittny Anderson for being here today, as well as Jared and EASHA, who will be telling their stories about a program, an exciting new program that we're going to be announcing today. As Ravi said, young people have been disproportionately affected by COVID-19. Rites of passage like graduations, that first job, going to university with a group of people from your peer group, celebrating and exploring the wonders of young adulthood as we prepare for the challenges ahead. A year of travel, any number of things that I remember as a youth has been taken away because of COVID-19 from young people here in British Columbia. And although we have been focused for the past year and a bit on keeping all British Columbians safe and ensuring that we could keep as many livelihoods going as possible during extremely challenging times, we have seen, as Ravi said, a disproportionate impact on the most vulnerable populations in our society, whether it's the elderly with respect to those in long-term care facilities or young people starting out their lives in the midst of a global pandemic. And although I did say to the graduating class of 2020 at Edward Milne Secondary in my community of Souk, saying you were going to be the only class to graduate during a pandemic is now going to be the second class to graduate during a pandemic. And we're hopeful that the vaccine rollout and the measures that have been put in place to protect people will be successful, and this will be the last summer of COVID-19. But as we keep people safe and keep our economy going, government has to be quick and responsive to the changing needs of people, not just young people, but all British Columbians. And I want to do two things today. Firstly, I want to announce that I've asked Brittny Anderson, the MLA for NELSON-CRESTON, to be the Premier's advisor on youth. That means Brittny will be able to go across the province, engaging with young people, bringing back their hopes, their concerns, their fears, so that government can put in place policies that will assist them in the short term, the medium term, and in the long term. I'm very fortunate as a leader of a government to have 7 members of my caucus who are millennials, the youngest of which is Brittny. But we have young people at our table that are bringing these issues forward day after day, week after week, month after month. And part of that process has led to the programs that Ravi and I are going to be announcing today. Before we get to that, I want to thank Brittny for stepping up. This is an ominous responsibility. To be my advisor on youth issues means that her email and her texts are going to be filled with people that have good ideas, and we want to encourage that. Everybody has a role to play in British Columbia. Everybody has a part in coming out of the pandemic, and I'm very excited to have Brittny taking up this challenge and doing what she can to make sure that we lift up young people right across BC. I also want to spend some time talking a little bit about the programs that we're announcing today. The StrongerBC Future Leaders Program are 5 distinct programs totaling about $45 million that will fund jobs, they will fund internships and co-op opportunities across British Columbia. 5,000 young people will benefit from these programs, getting work experience, that first opportunity to move up and move on with their lives as we say goodbye to COVID-19 in the months ahead. The programs are especially focused on assisting young people to get the experience that they need to move on to other more promising jobs in the marketplace. I remember as a youth, I remember my children coming out of high school and then out of university. The biggest challenge young people have is getting that experience they need to put on a resume to make the case to a business or to an organization that they have something to contribute. And I believe this program will assist literally 5,000 young people in achieving that very important goal of getting that first bit of practical in the workplace experience that can lead to better paying jobs, stronger careers, and a focus on the things that people want to do in their work life. These positions, of course, will promote innovation and sustainability. Young people will earn an income while they're gaining experience, and all young people are being asked to participate if they can. I know we're going to hear from Jared and EASHA in a minute, but before I do that, I want to ask Brittany to say a few words about how she's going to take on this new challenge that I've given to her as the Premier's advisor on youth issues. Over to you, Brittany.
Thank you. It is an honor to serve as the Premier's special advisor on youth. As you note, the youth of this province have been particularly hard hit by the pandemic. I look forward to working with BC's young people in overcoming today's challenges. Young people want good jobs, a good education, and affordable housing. Working with youth-led and youth-serving organizations across British Columbia, we will develop strategies to support the employment of young people. A good job today benefits young people for years to come. I'll ensure we have participation from Indigenous and racialized youth, and from those living in rural and remote communities. It is essential we have participation from youth who all too often have not had their voices heard. We know young people are feeling the effects of the current health emergency, and as we look to equitable and just recovery, their voices cannot and will not be left out of the conversation. I look forward to hearing from the youth of our province. I know the future is bright, and it will be all the brighter with their full participation. Thank you so much, Premier.
That's great news. Thank you, Premier John Horgan. Of course, thank you, Brittany. I know you're going to do a fantastic job in this role, and you've already been doing an amazing job advocating for your community, but as well for young people. Look forward to working with you on the initiatives ahead. Now I'd like to introduce Jared Davis to speak about and share his experience with the Youth Employment Program. So I know he's joining us virtually. So Jared, over to you.
Thank you, Minister KAHLON. So I'd just like to share my personal story. I graduated from university in 2020 April with a degree in Native Studies. From there, I moved to Northern BC to reconnect with my family. I was able to move to Fort St. John area. A family member of mine shared the Youth Employment Program job posting to me. I applied and then I got the job. And the benefits of the program helped me immensely. I was able to get familiar with the land, the wildlife, also with, it got me familiar with what wildlife conservation means. It also has allowed me to reconnect with my heritage in a way that I couldn't really imagine before. So I really appreciate that. It's allowed me to strengthen the ties with Indigenous people, Indigenous nations, with the Conservation Officer Service, and overall has allowed me to develop personal and professional skills. And I am looking forward to the opportunities that this will open up for me in the future. And yeah, basically, I'm very excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jared, and I really appreciate your words, and it's very inspiring. So I know the future is bright for you. So thank you for your comments. Now I'd like to introduce EASHA ACHARYA, who will talk about her experience with the Youth Employment Program with BC Parks last November. And I understand she recently moved into a recreation and policy analyst job within the BC Public Service after your work experience. So looking forward to hearing that. And I'll pass the mic over virtually to EASHA. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to share my experience as an intern with the BC Public Service through the Youth Employment Program, which is similar to the program being announced today. When I joined the BC Parks YEP program, I had recently graduated with my master's specializing in energy and natural resources law, and I was interested in gaining policy experience in the natural resource sector. I was placed in recreation services where I assisted my supervisor on a variety of exciting permit policy and guideline research, which allowed me to apply practical and analytical skills from my degree. My supervisor has been extremely supportive of my career development from the first day of the internship, and I've worked with her to identify goals, build skills that align with those goals, undertake relevant professional development courses, and take on interesting and challenging projects. I was so impressed with how well the YEP program was run, especially considering the unique challenges of operating an internship program virtually this year. The staff involved went above and beyond in integrating us into the BC Parks environment, introducing us to staff in different program areas, incorporating us into the workplace culture, and supporting us in identifying and working toward longer-term career goals. Because of the subject matter knowledge I gained during my internship, I was lucky enough to step into a temporary permit policy analyst position, which has given me the opportunity to continue learning and growing in a very encouraging environment surrounded by inspiring people. I'm so grateful to be a participant and for the mentorship I've received. I know this will be a valuable foundation for the next chapter. I can absolutely vouch for youth employment opportunities in the BC Public Service, and I strongly encourage people to take a look at the new program being announced today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, EASHA, for sharing your experience, and of course, wish you best of luck in the opportunity that you have now, as well as future career opportunities within the public service. A StrongerBC Future Leaders Program is an investment in our young people. It's an opportunity to tackle climate change. It's an opportunity and an investment in the future for our future leaders in innovation. Working alongside my colleagues in the Ministry of Flinro, Environment, and Advanced Education, we will ensure that we're providing support to our youth, helping them get a broad range of skills that meet future needs and help us build a stronger BC. I want to highlight that many of the programs that we're offering today are target particularly women, Indigenous, and Black youth. Very proud about that. I'm also very excited to see the program in action and want to thank all the public servants who have worked very hard to make these programs available. I'd also want to highlight that many of you may have known that the Circuit Breaker Business Grant Relief Program website launched this morning. We have seen a big uptake in applications. In fact, we had over 100 businesses apply within the first half an hour of the application being open. So promising sign, and we encourage businesses to apply. Businesses can apply today at www.gov.bc.ca/business relief. With that, I will pass the mic over to the moderators for the Q&A.